Hi there, welcome to another one of these. What are we calling the show? Shocktober? Is that what we're calling it? Scotchtober? Shocktober, okay.
Scotch eggs.
Yeah, welcome. We're doing Evil Dead 2.
Where we review Scotch eggs while watching Evil Dead.
We've not got any Scotch eggs, if I'm honest.
It's going to make it very hard, though.
Okay, so I'm got a mouthful of Scotch eggs trying to watch Evil Dead. I'm Jacob, and I'm... you know, because you've watched Evil Dead 1, you know who I am.
I'm Gemma, again, the same, you'll know who I am.
I'm Matt, I'm here for some reason.
Yeah. Matt co-hosts Bad Creepypasta with me if for some reason you're watching this but don't watch Bad Creepypasta. Now, as always, this is a audio commentary, not a video, so if you wish to sync this up with your own copy of Evil Dead 2, you can do so in 3, 2, 1, play.
Showtime.
Yeah, oh, lovely Studio Canal logo. Let's just talk about this for a moment, shall we? Lovely clouds. That's all nice, isn't it?
Filmed in real time.
Yeah.
They had to drop so many cameramen out of the...
Yeah, oh, it's so dangerous. All those poor cameramen that died. But it's a great logo. This film contains scenes which may be too intense for persons under the age of 17.
Right, you can tell that's old.
Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of a cool logo. Rosebud. I don't think I've seen that in any other movies. Probably only made this. So I'm not as familiar with this film as I am with the first one. And it's kind of annoying because there are no subtitle options on the DVD. And of course we've had to have the volume low so we can record. So we're going to sort of like... I hope you two are more familiar with Evil Dead 2 than I am. I've seen it a few times, but certainly not as many as I've seen the first one.
I've seen it a few times, but again...
I've seen it a few times, but not for a long time. And it just seems to... it merges with my memories of the last time I watched Evil Dead 1. I can't believe there's no subtitles. Like, this must be an old copy you got.
Yeah.
Good old Necronomicon.
Yeah, I like this image of like they've literally just taken a shot of the ocean and made it red, but it's nice. It's a classic, you know.
And the William Blake paintings in there again.
Yeah.
Bound in human flesh.
I really like the look of these titles as well.
Yeah, they're really nice.
I think the music's better in this one too than the first one.
Yeah.
Now, the first sort of act of the film, if you will, from here up to the point where the camera goes up to Ash's face when he's screaming, like at the end of the first one, it's sort of like a remake of Evil Dead 1. The only reason it exists, to the best of my... I'm glad that it's here, because tonally this film is so different to the first one that I'm glad they shot all this new material. But apparently the only reason it exists is because they couldn't actually secure the rights to use footage from their own movie, because somebody else at the time owned Evil Dead 1, and they couldn't get clips from the first one to put in this one, so they had to
just redo
just remake the first one basically, but decide to, in order for, you know, save time, they'll just retell the story with just those two characters.
And then a bunch of other people just wander in.
Yeah.
Spoilers!
But as I'm saying, though, it's only a remake up to the point where he screams and the camera goes up in his face, and then the actual sequel portion begins. But tonally, it is so different to the first one. Now, already you can tell this one's actually got a budget, because like the quality of the camera, like the actual resolution of the image and everything.
I mean, the Bruce Campbell puppet in this one is a lot better than the...
Well, I think Bruce Campbell actually looks a lot more confident in this film already.
Yeah, he looks like an actor now instead of, you know, like a dweeb like he does in the first movie. He looks like he's actually a guy who makes movies for a living now.
As opposed to Sam Raimi's mate.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, as opposed to the guy who was also a producer on the film, constantly like... I think, yeah, we talked about it last time, he was working as a cab driver during the making of the first one.
I mean, he looks more now like, not the guy that went, who looks better?
Yeah.
Who looks better for the ladies? He's just like, I think he's more his own person now.
He gets a lot more material. Like, he's so cheesy, look at that face. He gets a lot more material to work with in this one as well, which is great, obviously. I think he really shines in this one because he gets to do a lot more of the stuff that people like from Bruce Campbell, the more sort of slapstick and kind of over the top,
sarcastic kind of.
Yeah, like he's very physical,
wise arsery.
Yeah, like he's like a smart ass, but he's also very physical. He's constantly smashing things over his head and whatnot.
Was that because like Sam Raimi just likes to hurt Bruce Campbell or something like he said that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like he just wails on him
with whales. Yeah,
just throws whales out. In If Chins Could Kill, there's a passage about where he was working with Pat Hingle on The Quick and the Dead. And like Sam Raimi was like, yeah, the scene didn't even make it into the movie. And Sam Raimi was like, yeah, you can just smack this guy. He's like a stunt man. You just smack him around, hit him as hard as you want.
It's Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, it was just Bruce Campbell. But I mean, I'd let Pat Hingle. I mean, he's dead now, but I'd have let Pat Hingle punch me in a movie. To be honest.
Zombie Pat Hingle.
I like the film again. It has enough budget to actually show you like a flashback of them doing like archaeology to collect these artifacts and things.
As opposed to, we totally found this.
Yeah.
We totes found this in the cave.
Because this was done in 1987, and I'm assuming between that time, Sam Raimi had done some other films.
Yeah. I think he'd done I can't remember what it's called, like Clockwise or something like that. No, that's that comedy with John Cleese. No, he didn't make that. He made some movie about time or something, or clocks. I didn't watch it.
I think I know the one. I saw the trailer for that recently. I think
it might be a thing I'm in like making up, but
I
should point out that this actually isn't in the cabin from the first movie. This is actually a set.
Really?
Yeah, it's like I think it's a school gymnasium that actually shot this in. Like, so it wasn't on a studio lot or anything, but it was. And I think a lot of the cabin shots are actually miniatures in this film.
Well, I think by that time, I think the cabin had probably burned down by that point.
It's quite possible. So they've sort of perfected a technique they attempted in the first film with what they call the Ramo cam, where they had the battering ram with the camera attached. I think it looks better there. They managed to get the camera right close to...
Didn't they pioneer a whole bunch of different sort of like camera...
Yeah, certainly in the first one. This one is more slick, I think. It's not as experimental in terms of how it's filmed.
Since I wasn't here for the... I will occasionally ask things like, did you talk about like the video nasties and all that
stuff?
stuff?
Yeah, definitely. You can't not talk about video nasties when you're from the UK and talking about Evil Dead 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that you have to talk about. Jim, would you like to get a little bit closer to the microphone? Because I don't know if it's going to pick you up, because you have quite a quiet way of speaking anyway. You're quite far from the microphone. There we go.
Okay. I'll just sit here.
I'll just step in your fingers.
I say like this is kind of obviously a recreation from a scene from the first one, but they give it a slightly different kind of look. The film has a very different aesthetic to the first one.
I do like the willingness to like immediately like, well, she's acting a bit weird and creepy, so immediately straight to decapitation.
Yeah. Well, of course, in the first movie, he really hesitates. Yeah. There's a lot of times like where he points a gun at her and can't do it, or he's going to chop her with a chainsaw, which was a real chainsaw. We talked about this last time, and he can't do it. I think in terms of the photography, this is again, it isn't as experimental as the first film. I think this is the best looking of the trilogy.
I think Army of Darkness is very... I'm trying to describe the word for it. It looks very bare.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think it's very bare. It looks cheap. It's weird because Army of Darkness has clearly got the biggest budget out of all of them because of the amount of special effects and things in it, and yet it looks so cheap.
It had well, I'll say like it seems to have like the biggest budget,
and
but it's spread so thin across.
To be a remake, and there we go. And now the sequel begins.
So it wasn't him being killed randomly by the monster; it was him getting.
Yeah. It's a really interesting shot.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the idea of whatever's throwing him back is just being a dick by spinning him round.
Apparently they're like really like Sam was like whacking him with branches there.
It's what good mates do, isn't it?
Look how long he's under there.
The fact that he's like, does they have a pump under there?
I imagine that's not really him breathing because there's no way he could have held that much in his lungs. I love how they exaggerate his chin in the possessed Ash makeup. So I don't know how they've done that. It's obviously not real though. It's some sort of
but that's clearly just him with like the makeup off.
The paint, like some sort of painting that they've animated there, the animated section. This reverse smoke, but it does the trick. There's a lot of reverse stuff in this movie. The eyeball shot coming up in a moment, which I think is a really nice moment. Like the close up of the eye, which is just a reverse shot of them pouring milk into like a piece of I don't know what it is, a piece of glass or something like that. Makeup application.
That's really cool.
And notice he's not covered in red blood in this one. He's covered in like just black sludge. Apparently there was a fear because of the issues they'd had with the first film, like getting an X rating in America and being banned in the UK and I think Australia as well. They really wanted to limit the amount of red blood in this film.
It's okay as long as it's not red.
Yeah, and even the moment where it is red, it's like a really weird shade and it's really thin like water. Yeah.
Well, like they do that in games as well. Sometimes it just like in order to get a lower rating, they would turn the blood green or purple or something.
Yeah, they do that
some bunch black crap on his face.
Like some early '90s cartoons, like the monsters will bleed some other colour.
Yeah, some weird slime instead of blood. Yeah. But it works in the context of a monster movie, a monster horror film like this.
Well, they're not human, so they can bleed whatever they want.
Cottage cheese and porridge, her.
Yeah, there was like porridge oats in the last one, wasn't there? At one scene. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I mean, maybe that's not because the Oldsmobile's there. I don't know. I remember reading that there's the shots of the cabin in this one are actually a model.
Just because it's only a model.
But that clearly was really there. So I don't know.
I mean, he does go to Camelot, and it is a soup place in the next one.
Yeah.
They ever say where he actually is in Army of Darkness? He's just in...
Yeah, he's just in non-specific medieval England, I think. He's just in a really, really cheap episode of Game of Thrones.
Now that's what the crossover I want to see. Army of Darkness versus Game of Thrones.
Oh, right, I thought you meant like Bruce Campbell as Ash in Game of Thrones. Like,
Either way,
instead of going through the portal to where he ends up in the third movie, he actually just ends up in Westeros.
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
It's like, this is my boomstick.
But it just shoots the mountain in the face.
And I'm like, what is a boomstick? What is this boomstick you speak of?
It wouldn't survive, though. That's the thing. Like, you can blame surviving the medieval England that exists in the third movie, but I can't imagine him surviving in Westeros.
I imagine him just lucking his way through it.
Yeah. Imagine that's kind of how he survives in these movies, isn't it? That looks like a miniature. I'm pretty sure that probably is.
No, they actually got they had to hire all these guys to bend. Can't be just a machine.
Un-
No, you do it with manpower.
Just to bend steel girders in a really unnatural way.
So many people died.
That machine was a matte painting. I think this was a lot more cartoonish. We talked about the cartoonishness of the first one. Again, like cinematography-wise, I don't think this one's anywhere near as weird looking, but in the same vein, the special effects are very cartoonish and over the top. And the logic of the film is sort of strange, all over the place. Like, it just suddenly becomes night. That's weird. Is that some kind of green screen effect, do you think? Mm-hmm. There's a great shot coming up fairly soon. Again, I haven't watched it for a while, so I'm not sure when, but I'll point it out when it happens. It's a really impressive shot. But yeah, I know he did some really dangerous stunts in this film, actually, Bruce Campbell. There's one, again, in this sequence.
There's always just stuff that's chasing him that you never see. Like, is he being chased by a ghost or like some sort of dog thing?
I imagine it's supposed to be some horrible monster, isn't it? Some kind of hideous demon, because the people are always terrified when it shows up, but we don't get to see it.
Yeah. I mean, it's more of a presence, more of a feeling. They actually really they had like a...
They actually launched Bruce Campbell out.
Yeah, no, this is the shot I was about that's really impressive. So we go up, through the back of the car, and then out the front.
Oh, that is
brilliant.
Really
that
cool.
is so... I don't know how they did that, but I do know how they launched him out of the car. They pulled him, like, on his, that little bit of skin, like, between, like, your chest and, like, your neck. There's a little bit of thin skin there that I hooked, I swear to God. They hooked a fishing.
I was going to say, do they stick a fish hook for that as a joke?
Pulled him through. Now you can see a little bit in this scene the ceiling of where the set actually ends. Where is it? Has it happened already? I think we might have missed it. People watching at home probably already know anyway. It's a very famous movie, but yeah, there's a moment you can see where actually you can see the rafters of where that's a fake set.
Ah. I'll have to look that out for next time.
I think some of these shots of the cabin are probably like an empty shell that they built in the woods versus some model shots later on, I expect.
Most likely. So, like something I didn't say about the last one was that when they wrapped up the filming of The Evil Dead, they left a little Sam and Bruce left a little time capsule in the fireplace for people to find if they wanted to find the place. And that's all that was left over by the end of it was the fireplace. But I thought it was really cool. But, they probably had loads.
That looks like a model because those lights don't look real the way they're moving.
No.
Again, this movie can afford to have a shot of an aeroplane in it. Again, it really separates it from the first one. It really gives it a sort of an upping in the production value. Yeah.
I don't know why I recognised her and I've forgotten her. I recognise her as an actress, but I have no idea what her name is.
I really only know her from this. I say about most of the cast.
So are we introducing the people who are here to essentially just take body blows for Bruce Campbell?
Yeah. Like, oh well, Bruce Campbell's the only person in the movie so far, so other people have got to die at some point.
Yeah.
Don't bother learning these people's names.
Yeah, I don't know their names.
Just blonde guy.
I at least know the names of the characters in the first one, as sort of flat and one-dimensional as the characters are. I still know their names.
Yeah. So far, it's just blonde guy and a girl wearing the blue ascot.
Girl with really scary teeth.
Yes.
And then back to Bruce Campbell, who I actually care about in this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, this has a really kind of again, visually not as experimental, but narratively very experimental. The way they tell the story of his sort of descent into insanity is really
Just like quick
kooky
recap
and
of the
weird.
last one, then him getting the shit beaten out of him for
Yeah.
and then we cut away back to something else will be important later.
I do wonder how much of what's happening, because Ash is quite an unreliable narrator, because he's, at the end of the first movie he goes mad.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm unsure of how much is happening. Like some of the shots, there's a moment coming up soon where he's in one place and then he's suddenly in another, things like that. And I wonder how much of it's
he's either delusional or magic's just screwing with him.
Yeah, that's the thing, you don't know, because the Evil Dead films really have no rules in regards to that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Matt, like, which is your favourite of the trilogy?
Well, probably the one I've seen the most is Army of Darkness.
Really, that's probably my least favourite of the three. I've seen it. I saw it first though of all of them, because I suppose when I was like quite young, I was like 13. That was the only one that was suitable for me to watch. But
Yeah, I prefer like action more to horror. So
the fuck off my horror podcast.
yeah, so I don't know why I'm here. I'll come back like when you do like, was it, I don't know, Action February or something?
Action February.
Yeah,
Febsplosion. I don't know.
Febsplosion, right, guys? Tune in for Febsplosion 2017.
I'm trademarking that.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Well, so you don't want some other cunt using it, do you?
Yeah. I'm on the fast track to like millionaire lifestyle now.
You know,
Febsplosion.
I'm really
It
worried we're going
rolls off the tongue.
this episode's going to come out before we have time to copyright it, and someone else is going to buy the rights to Febsplosion. There's some really, really cool stop motion coming out now, because we talked about the stop motion in the last one. Obviously, a film with such a low budget having so much stop motion was quite a rarity. Of course, this film's got a much larger budget, but still, they got this really sort of Ray Harryhausen-esque stop motion scene here. It's very macabre.
Very.
Her body rotted away pretty quickly, didn't it?
Yeah.
Well, she was kind of a demon possessed.
Yeah.
Demon.
It just makes like a willy out of the branch.
I wonder if that come back in play at some point in the movie.
Oh,
Tree willy.
They already did that shit in the first one, didn't they?
I was going to say, because I don't want to like, is there Drew rape in the first one or the
That's
second
the
one?
first one. No, I think I want to say Sam Raimi had grown past tree rape in this one, but apparently originally he wanted there to be a male raped by one of the trees in this one.
Or to even it out.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Trees don't rape guys.
All
That's
those-
just silly.
All those 80s SJWs to worry about. I think he's clearly just throwing his own head into into a piece of wood there, and the head comes off and screaming, but he's in a chair.
Did he dream it? Did they?
Yeah.
How screwed
I love that he can't quite scream. I referenced that in Darkland, actually. We do that same gag with the main character at one point.
Shoot.
Yeah, we have our main character like try to scream for a couple of times and then lets the scream out.
That's cool.
This is a good special effect. And then we go back to the sort of slapstick silliness with the...
Slamming her.
We talk about how much he suffers in Evil Dead 1, but I mean, he suffers quite a lot in this as well, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Well, having to beat off the demon-possessed head of your girlfriend, I mean, not a very pleasant night.
No.
I mean, I've never really had to deal with that sort of thing. I'm not... Jacob, you? Gemma?
No.
You've not had a lot of girlfriends, Matt, so we're, you know...
Yeah, but well, also their heads never came back to like, oh, I mean...
I mean, I've not had very many girlfriends either. None being the operative word.
Jacob, how many times have you had to fight off the decapitated head of boyfriends that come back to?
I find that slightly homophobic, Matt.
Why? Because
this is... I love these like crooked kind of zooms and things like that. It just looks so cool.
Just the idea of just instead of what he's about to do, he just leaves her.
Yeah.
Look, no, he puts a big jar over
You're
it.
going down. Yeah. I was like a chalk outline, and he reaches for it for a moment, and you've got this ridiculous dummy. I think that was on they were pushing that on like a skateboard or something.
Do you ever think that maybe after the take's done, and he just turns to Sam and goes, "Sam, why you do this? Why you keep covering me with blood?"
Also, we've said it several times on the podcast, but chainsaws do not actually make good.
Yeah, they make appalling weapons.
Mm-hmm.
You'd know, wouldn't you, the amount of hookers you've tried to murder with them.
Well, I mean, it's usually just for the aftermath, but then cleaning out all the bits, the giblets. But seriously.
So the problem is, we keep stopping to talk just so we can... We had this problem with the first one. This is the problem with doing good movies. We should do, shit, really, because, with good movies, you stop to pay attention to what's going on.
And now the blood's red.
Yeah, but that's something they had to limit the amount of red blood they could use. Mm-hmm. They had a bit in that scene. I have some later when he, spoilers, chops his own hand off. For those who haven't seen Evil Dead 2.
Or,
know
don't have
about
any...
the Evil Dead.
Like, if you...
have no real interest in pop culture from the 80s.
Yeah.
There's a good chance people would have, heard of Ash as a... just as, the guy with the shotgun, the boomstick, and the chainsaw hand.
I think another reason a lot of fans like the second movie the most is because this is kind of a transitional film where he goes from the coward to the hero. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the third movie, he's kind of a slimy douchebag, but he's the action hero in the third one.
Yeah.
Whereas I think in this is the one where he kind of becomes the action hero.
You don't really have much of a choice.
Yeah.
And like I said in the previous one about how they've done the TV show Ash versus Evil Dead, is that they seem to kind of it's a mixture between probably Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot that was out. The
I
TV
still
show.
haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm. Still need to go and see
the shotgun's been replaced with a double barrel in this one. I think it looks cooler. It just has a bit more of a...
What type of shotgun was it before?
It was this weird, single-barreled one, wasn't it, in the first movie?
Yeah.
That we were quite certain was real because of the way the cartridge discharged out of it when he cocked it. Or that's what he broke it, rather. I don't know much about guns. I get the terminology wrong.
I like how that's just I like the kind of the movement of that.
Little moments of subtlety in a film like Evil Dead 2 can go a long way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you do feel like the demons are very, in the first one, very sadistic, and even here in a more comedic film, they're messing with him. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, just about to cut your when his girlfriend head was like, "No, please."
Yeah.
And then immediately turns around as he's crying. It's sort of hard to see, but what colour is the blood that's covering his... I
think it's a mix. There's red blood here and there. I think he's all just red, actually. Oh, this is a nice gag here with the mirror. This is really clever.
Was it the first one where they...
That's a great special effect. I think it's it's a double with prosthetics to look like Bruce Campbell, rather than an actual.
I do feel that so one of their chins was a bit longer than the other. So
Yeah.
and he's just choking himself again. It's like, is he just going mad?
Mm-hmm.
well, was it the first one where they lock him in the basement and there's like,
No, it's this one.
no. Like I said, like, I haven't seen I haven't seen either of them in a long time, and so like what I can remember one.
Brilliant comic timing in this film.
Yeah.
So yeah, the animation looks a lot better as well on the hand there compared to like the leg in the first one.
Yeah.
Has he got green on him as well?
Yeah.
Probably algae from like the pond that he fell in.
Oh, that is grim.
That's far worse than the blood.
No, it's just like, to me that's just really gross. I don't know why. Just the thought of like pond scum all over him.
Well, that happened to my sister.
This is kind of
when she
cool.
fell,
This
but-
moment, because the camera sort of like appears like it's going to go up, but it's actually on its side by the outside the cabin. I really like that.
That is nice.
The guys who took the non-broken bridge.
Well, maybe it's a kind of Silent Hill thing with like that. Is that, well, even though before that the bridge was broken for him because, but
No,
it was fine for him.
the bridge is broken because I think that's the point of this scene here. If you look, he's putting out
Oh yeah,
signs.
that makes sense.
Okay.
Anything, so
We'll take the helicopter.
hindered Peter.
So you said it's a bit like a Silent Hill. So does that mean it's going to become the evil dead pachinko machine?
Glad Toby's not here to get triggered by that. This guy, the hillbilly, right? I swear he has like a non-speaking cameo in Spider-Man 2 in the train scene.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm sure one of the extras is him.
It's possible. I mean, I checked my phone, but it's charging upstairs.
The Adventures of Spooderman. Bruce Campbell.
Isn't she? What's her face in Back to the Future? She
Marty's like girlfriend.
Yeah.
Sure, are you sure she's not just cosplaying as her?
It looks
Or
like.
is it because people in the 80s all look the same?
Yeah.
It's just a face. It's because I mean, obviously, it was a different person in the first film, but.
Are you sure she isn't someone from the Breakfast Club? They all look like this sort of same sort of haircut.
It's just
Jean
Emilio
jacket.
Estevez in makeup. My leg is killing me. I had a radiator fall on my leg today. Like, we were looking at this house and like the landlord was like trying to show me something. He climbed up on a radiator and it just fell on my leg.
I know.
So if shouldn't you be able to knock a bit off the price of the rent?
Yeah, well I thought like, well mate, yeah, you've injured
assaulted me
here, so how about 2 months free?
No need for a guarantor.
Oh god, that's painful. I shouldn't touch it. There you go.
You should touch it more.
Yes. Ow!
That was silly.
I like this whole shot here going through the. That's nice as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wash off the evil.
That's how you do it.
You know about cleanliness and godliness, that sort of thing, maybe?
Well, that's how the Christians think you should do it. You should cleanse yourself of your sins.
With soap.
With fire.
Burning soap.
I heard a story about all these people that were burned, all these like heretics that were burned in Canterbury, like a week before the death of Bloody Mary, and like apparently the Archbishop sent like a letter saying like, make sure that they're it was the Archbishop sent a letter saying like, make sure that they're burned like within the week before the Queen dies, because like her successor obviously would have pardoned them. So like, well, make sure it gets done before she dies. Like, what a scumbag.
Mm-hmm.
I love this, like the hand is like sentient and has
much better.
Can see,
Yeah.
like you get the hand's POV in a moment. I love how agonizingly long this is as well. So the kind of thing like, Sam Raimi was doing this years and years before, Seth MacFarlane was doing jokes like this, It's the
that long
relentlessness,
build up.
yeah.
But the hand doesn't go, remember that one time
Yeah.
when me and Ash were on vacation in Hawaii?
So because it goes beyond the point where it's funny, and then it's funny again. Like
Take that hand. Oh wait, you still attach me. God damn it!
I don't know, like, who's laughing now? Like, what?
Like, I'm certainly not laughing.
Really toning down on that blood.
Yeah, you didn't watch the first one with us the other night. Trust me, they are toning it down.
Yep. This is Bloodlight.
Get out.
I'll leave now.
Not because it was a shit pun, but just because you made me think of Bud Light.
Which is a grievous sin. It's like if a horse sneezed into some lemonade and piss.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I think that would have quite a lot more flavour.
Anyone who would like I say anyone who enjoys Bud Light, get a better taste for beer.
Mm.
Well, like, apparently, like, Bud Light Lime's meant to be better. My mum and dad and my sister drink it.
So here's something terrible. Let's squeeze some lime in it. Oh, it tastes better because of the lime. Or you could just throw that all out and pick something.
There's a great little gag here. When he puts the books down, look at the title of the book on top.
Farewell to Arms.
It's just simple. I really like that sort of humour.
Yeah.
That's quite Python-esque and it's quite British, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, what do they call him? Thing. Is that his name? The
Thing,
Hand.
yeah, in
from
Addams Family.
Family, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same actor that did the hand actor that does that, because this is because he does it for quite a few films.
Oh really? Is
yeah.
that like his thing?
He's a hand actor.
Yeah, it's the same guy that does them for quite a few things.
Well, considering the budget of this, it's probably not. I mean, this is a lot more budget than the first one, but still, I mean, it doesn't have the budget of like the Addams Family movies.
Probably, yeah, definitely not.
A bit of stop motion there.
I mean, I don't own a log cabin, but do people really have massive gaping holes in the sideboards and stuff like that?
If there's a giant mouse.
They're just like having a good time enjoying Evil Dead 2 now. So this is kind of I know that Sam Raimi's really influenced by the Three Stooges. This definitely feels like something that they would. I love that shot with the ear.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like something that would be on the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
He's very influenced by them. There's a Three Stooges gag, but like the horror version of it, like there's a grape gag from the Three Stooges where someone like chokes on a grape.
Mm-hmm.
They do with an eyeball later on in the movie.
Still less blood than the first one?
No, but obviously this is cartoonish and over the top. It's not, and it's like a different consistency. It's more like water.
Yeah, it's like Kool-Aid.
The house is bleeding.
That's going to diminish the value, isn't it?
Yeah.
The house that bled to death.
That was like the B-side to the house Jack built, wasn't it?
The B-sides to the house that. Someone out there releasing nursery rhymes. A mad mixtape. Bar, Black Sheep.
In the house, yo.
Have you any rocks, biatch?
Oh, it's Maynard the Moose.
Don't bring up fucking Maynard the Moose, man. That's just disturbing.
You don't want to have that brought up in this
I can't
horror themed.
There's one of those scenes where I can never figure out if it's really funny or actually super disturbing.
I think it's a mixture of the two.
Right,
So
just replace
laughing at him.
just replace like Bruce Campbell with say like a Shia LaBeouf or something like that, and then what's the scene like?
Way more disturbing.
But no, Optimus.
I like this where he does a little dance.
I think Bruce Campbell and that lamp over there should have gone on to form a crime-fighting team.
Starring a buddy cop movie together. They have good chemistry. Like how his laughter turns to screaming as well.
Which one would be the straight-laced one, and which one would be the...
Obviously, the cop who
on the edge.
The cop on the edge is Bruce Campbell, and the by the book cop is the lamp. Obviously, it's like, damn it, Campbell, you sloopy bastard. We've decided that soup is now called schloop.
Very important. I'm just imagining the cop shot is like it's like demon possessed lamp and Bruce Campbell as he is right now. So he's like he's not in uniform and he's got a shotgun and missing an arm and
covered in human blood.
Human blood is wounds. You two in my office.
But we've decided this pond algae.
I want your badges and your guns, and he just like puts a shotgun down on the desk.
Turn in your stump.
Your badge and your chainsaw. Silence.
Sorry, I'm again just enjoying the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Punch that hillbilly. I think the most humiliating thing was the guy with the poofy hair managed to restraining him.
Yeah, I think so. Is she meant to have been shot by him discharging the shotgun there? Because clearly there's nothing wrong with her.
I was thinking, like, if she got shot with a shotgun, she'd have no arm.
Yeah.
Well, like,
no, I assume like a piece of the shrapnel that's supposed to have grazed her.
yeah, that's probably
but, like
the
there's
best.
no blood or anything. It's like
Even like the smallest bit of buckshot would have. So if I can remember the script, it was like someone else, they were like going to his uncle's cabin, but these people also going to his uncle's cabin because of reasons. So even if it wasn't like demon possessed, it would have been a wacky romantic comedy. Oh no, we can't let them know that we're in the same basement or the same cabin for the weekend.
Keeping up with the Joneses in the abandoned cabin.
keeping up with the Deadites. I didn't know for ages there was a show called Keeping Up with the Kardashians, right? Mm-hmm. So I saw I was reading Bizarre magazine, and there was this article about some porn actor who there was a list of some of the films they'd done, and one of them was Keeping It Up with the Kardashians. But I thought they meant the Cardassians from Star Trek. So I thought it was really fucking just awful, disgusting porn
with guys with grey skin and spoon marks. I'm gonna be honest. That's what I've like.
I mean, I'd rather watch that than watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yes.
Or
I cannot think
that Kanye West isn't in any way affiliated with.
Anytime that they are mentioned, I immediately think of the guys from Deep Space Nine. So
I'm glad it's not just me.
Mm-hmm.
What spook?
There was some spoopy shit in this book.
I don't find this section of the film as interesting. Once these guys show up, I think when it's Bruce Campbell, the film's at its best in my opinion when it's Bruce Campbell alone with the evil in the cabin.
Mm-hmm.
Within.
The evil within, a game that was really, really staggeringly mediocre.
It was so bad.
This is a really nicely paced scene. I like this. I hope the film's been sped up or something to achieve that effect, but. And then we get this nice bit of stop motion.
I also have the guy on the thing is saying I have a prediction that anyone who has two sets of hands will probably not live the night. I'm not sure why I said that.
2 sets of hands, so 4 hands.
Yeah.
Mate, wouldn't this movie be over a lot quicker if they had Goro on those?
Mortal Kombat.
That's Ted Raimi. That's the Sam Raimi, the director's brother, obviously.
Oh yeah. He was famous for being in Hercules.
Yeah.
No,
Xena.
One of them. One of the Xena things.
Apparently, that was really uncomfortable. The makeup he's in, and he would lose pounds of sweat every day, and he got really sick afterwards, because he lost so much weight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell it's Ted Raimi.
Yeah. This is so ridiculous. But yeah, here comes the another piece of reverse, you can really see how it's done. When they do the eyeball, the Three Stooges gag. Like I said, the painting's a bit more believable than the flimsy shelf in the first one.
Yeah, it's just Bruce Campbell getting knocked down by shelves that have weighed absolutely nothing.
You can see it's floating on a little stick, and there's a piece of fishing line. But yeah, it's all reversed. They pulled it out of her mouth, and they had to have her choking, film it in reverse.
Ooh.
There's a few scenes like that in this film, reverse acting.
Zombie grandma.
So again, this is sort of a recreation of a scene from the first one, when they lock the one in the cellar, and it's quite comedic, but they play it even more for laughs in this one, of course, with the final bump.
Did you see the remake of Evil Dead?
Yes, it was shit.
I did not.
I know. I remember you saying, but I don't remember anyone mentioning anything.
The weirdest thing about it kind of reminded me of the House of the Dead movie, because they played little audio clips from the original Evil Dead movie at random moments, which reminded me of the random bits of gameplay footage in the House of the Dead movie.
Is that going to be on the docket for this?
I mean, it's not, if I'm honest.
If you want, I'm pretty sure I still have that copy of Alone in the Dark I bought from the pub.
Yeah, we don't have to do Alone in the Dark for our Halloween show. I don't think we need to do that.
There aren't that many good horror movies in the history of film. So
I guess you're right. There's no way we can come up with 31, is there? So maybe we should just do Alone in the Dark, or The Happening, or Lady in the Water.
Those are comedies.
Killing Me in the Night. What? No.
What? No. Mark, how did you not know you were in shit?
If we ever did The Happening, it was mostly me just going, Zooey Deschanel, you can't act, go away.
Are they going to talk about sausages again?
Sausages?
There's one guy who just keeps going, in the middle of the fucking apocalypse and people dying, he just goes on about fucking sausages or something like that.
I really like this scene, by the way, returning to Evil Dead 2 for a moment. The lullaby scene I really like.
Is that a stormtrooper teddy bear?
It is.
Not in the film, guys. It's just Matt's just commenting on what's in the room with us.
There's a bunch of people the fuck? Matt goddamn lost it?
He's wait, there was a stormtrooper teddy bear in Evil Dead 2 and I never noticed.
Right in the back.
Matt's just discovered an Easter egg that no one's ever noticed.
You rewind it and it actually is there.
Discovered it quite by accident.
No, my son has a teddy bear in the shape of a stormtrooper and it's called Finn. It makes a noise.
Finn the Stormtrooper and Jake the Jedi.
I do like the moment she's you were born in September, and I remember it because it was snowing. No, I remember it because it was the day my daughter was born. It's probably the...
Yeah. He looked like he was kind of dancing there.
I sort of don't
like the prosthetics. I think look better in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just from sort of the in-world thing, but I don't really like the way that Deadites could just random that guy nothing seemed to infect him or anything he wasn't bitten or he didn't touch anything. It's just random. It's he fell asleep and now he's possessed.
Well,
I've got to say, in the first movie they do a better job because obviously the first victim is the one who falls victim to the trees. Second one is the one I think who gets the pencil to the ankle. We don't see what happens to Scott. He just sort of dies and then they take him over. I say in the first movie there's a bit more. I really like the way the monster spins its head around and then its torso. I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Again, it's obviously some kind of dummy, but it looks really good.
Is that guy dead or just a...
No, I'm pretty sure he's not. So right there, it says, "Help us, you filthy coward." Now, my old DVD, which no longer works, which actually did have subtitles, mislabeled that with "Help us, you fucking coward" for some reason.
Thing is, she did say fucking there.
I heard filthy.
I don't know. I heard fucking for some reason.
Really? I've always heard it as filthy. Write in the comments, people who like Evil Dead 2, does she say filthy coward or fucking coward there? Because I've always heard it as help us, you filthy coward.
See, here, this is what happens when I help. Your boyfriend dies.
Apparently there was a shot, or like they did, where you could see kind of the inside of his head, and he had like spider webs in there and stuff. But they thought it was too violent, so they cut it out.
That's a shame. That was pretty
Very cool.
Pretty creative. Like the sort of Scooby-Doo-esque kind of shot of all of them huddling together there.
Jinkies.
That's a model, right?
Yeah.
That's a miniature.
Just a model.
I don't think this film is particularly. Again, I want to stress I do like the film, but I don't think it's particularly well paced. Like it seems quite up and down and sort of all over the place.
Yeah, it doesn't have a consistent time. It doesn't have. It's not consistent in it.
Yeah, it just kind of seems things just seem to happen. Like
like I said, like the guy just got possessed out of nowhere.
There's not a tremendous structure to this film. No. Like the first one, I think, even though I'd say this is a better movie, I think the first one has better pacing.
It does. Sorry, I'm yawning there. Kind of looks that bit of blood on his head looks like he's got a monobrow now.
Like how they all turn their heads sort of in synchronicity with all the different sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
Was this film successful, like financially?
I think so.
Well, I mean, they made a third one, I guess, but
it's got better IMDb rating than the first one. It's by 2 points. Like the first one's got 7.6, while this one's got 7.8.
Because I know this is a more well-liked film in general. So yeah, I felt like we had a lot more to say with the first one. I suppose because the first one is quite an important kind of classic in terms of what it did for the horror in general. Whereas I think this movie is just like a solid, well-made, fun movie. It doesn't quite have that same. I think that's why I prefer the first one. This one doesn't quite have that same sincerity to it. There's something really earnest about the first Evil Dead.
Yeah. How about Joel? I'll be back in a minute. I'm just gonna go get my phone and I'll see if we can bring up anything that can...
Okay, I'll get some trivia up in this his house.
Yeah.
As I finish my cup of tea.
That's
tragic. That is fucking tragic. I've got no tea left.
I mean, that is probably the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone ever.
It's the worst thing that's happened to me ever.
Especially including someone dropping a radiator on your leg.
Yeah. Oh yeah, far and away worse. Hey, I don't know you at all, and I have assaulted you.
And
chopped my boyfriend up with an axe, but let's go together.
I trust you.
We've bonded now.
You have a very trusting chin.
It's like, you look like someone who's probably going to survive the movie, so I'll follow you.
You know, if this was I was going to say if this was remade today, and it sort of was, but basically she would become the main character's romantic.
Yeah, and she'd become the main character in the remake because that's just the way these remakes go.
Well, didn't they not do that kind of with the remake?
Yeah.
Is that the main character was a female?
Mm.
From what I can gather from the trailer.
Yeah, she was. The remake was rubbish.
Because it was female. Less sexist, Jacob.
Yeah, that's why I hated it.
You hate women.
The same with Ghostbusters as well. They had a lot of problems. The fact that the humour was crass. One of the first jokes in the movie was a queef joke. It was a hateful, negative film.
But mainly it's the women.
But really, what I hate is they were played by women. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how I felt about the remake of Evil Dead. It was stupid and boring and predictable and relied too heavily on jump scares and wasn't as creative or fun as the original. But mostly it's that it was a woman. Mm-hmm. Was what I hated about it.
Wasn't the thing not to actually sort of try and validate that sort of thinking, but wasn't the main character in the remake of The Thing a woman?
Yeah.
So Hollywood, don't cast women. I think that's important. What we don't need in cinema is good female role models. We need less Ripleys, really, and more, just more background characters, more set dressing.
We
Girls
need
with
to
big tits is what I'm getting.
No, not even that, Jacob. You fucking idiot. You need to go back to old Victorian times, and you have all the women played by men.
I think that's pre-Victorian.
No, why did I say Victorian? I meant to say Shakespearean.
Yeah, you're thinking of the times of like Queen Elizabeth I, like.
Well, apparently the budget for this movie was considerably more than the first one. The budget was estimated at $3.5 million.
Yeah, that's quite a lot more than the first movie, and it shows.
Yeah, and it made a gross of $6 million basically.
Okay, so double its budget. So that's a success.
Yeah.
I mean, not exactly a box office smash, but certainly a success.
I mean, it's not going to.
It's not a graveyard smash either.
Well, that's the thing though, that horror is a kind of niche genre of film.
Absolutely.
So people that went to see The Evil Dead, obviously, they either were like, "Oh, go on, I want to see The Evil Dead. It's a video nasty over here."
Yeah.
And then when people are like, "Oh, The Evil Dead 2," they're the same people that were like, "Oh my god, The Evil Dead! I want to go see this." Yeah. They're going to go see that.
So
as well.
she's left the party and is immediately killed
word
for
of mouth was probably quite big for this film as well because it was so strange and fun and over the top. People were probably like, "Oh, you've got to see this movie, Evil Dead 2. It's the craziest film of the year."
Yeah, pretty much. I'm
just run out into the woods. That's what I'd do in her situation.
I mean, running out into the woods at night is basically a death sentence in a one that doesn't have evil spirits and crap like that.
If you just, I mean, there could be bears, or
I mean, I could go down to Canterbury Road and run into the woods by there, and that would still probably get me killed at night.
Yeah, well, probably just because of all the sort of degenerates and vagrants. I love the sort of Jim Henson-esque trees with the mouths in this. This is very cool.
Here's something about that Rosebud thing that was the film company, just from the start. It's apparently it wasn't a real institution. The producer Dino De Laurentiis was forbidden to release an unrated movie through his own company, so Rosebud was created specifically for the purposes of releasing Evil Dead 2.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, so Dino De Laurentiis, he did things he did Highlander, and Flash Gordon and stuff like that.
That doesn't surprise me that he would produce this as well.
And he also did the Transformers movie as well.
Oh, that's a good shot with the
Which Transformers movie?
The 1986 one.
Oh, the animated one.
Yeah.
With the branches. That's reversed as well. The branches coming out of the face there. That's a really good special effect.
So she's just going to be killed by the tree.
Yeah.
That film you're thinking of is Crime Wave.
Crime Wave. I don't know why I thought Time.
Time Wave.
Time Wave. Time Cop. Has anyone actually seen Time Cop?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I thought it must just be me. I thought it was one of those movies that nobody ever bothered seeing.
Did you see it?
That's what I'm saying. No, I thought it must just be me.
Have you watched Time Cop recently?
I've never watched Time Cop.
You've never watched Time Cop?
That's what I'm getting at.
All right,
I didn't realise anyone had seen Time Cop.
You need to sit down and watch Time Cop and then point out all the inconsistencies, like the bit where they start carbon dating a bit of gold, the thing that doesn't have any carbon in it.
Don't mind me, that's just me farting. Or maybe we shouldn't do Evil Dead 2. Maybe we should scrap this episode and release for the second episode Time Cop instead.
The cop that can't be stopped.
I like that little moment from Army of Darkness there.
Yeah.
You just see him like the ancient hero that looks like him.
So you think?
For some reason, Time Cop always reminds me of The Fifth Element, even though they basically have nothing to do with each other. Other than
I don't like The Fifth Element.
It's I can get
what's his name?
Once Ghazi Kodzo shows up. No, excuse me. Chris Tucker in drag shows up. The film just becomes really, really annoying to me.
Well, because it's got Chris Tucker in it.
But then again, I find a lot of the film annoying. Not just that, but I don't like the monster designs. I think Gary Oldman's annoying in the film.
And it's Mila Jovovich.
Mila Jovovich is fine for an action hero. She's got a certain intensity about her. She does all her own stunts. Whatever.
She ruins Resident Evil.
Well, no. Let's be honest. The writers and directors ruined that series. She had very little to do with that.
Well,
I think her being a massive Mary Sue in it might have.
Yeah, but again, she didn't write the script.
No, she just did sexual favours to her husband until he wrote her as the bear,
I don't know if that counts as favours if you're married.
Probably. if you have sex with me, okay, honey.
Yeah, just like.
And the UK.
So he's having an affair with his wife. I don't think you're using the language.
The UK cinema version of this was cut by 8 seconds.
So why is like all right? So
I wonder what the 8
we
seconds
haven't
were.
potential. So why is Bubba?
They cut down a couple of kicks, head kicks to Ash by Jake.
Which one's Jake? Is this Jake?
Jake is yes, Jake. Yep. That's
Bubba.
Jake.
I like how gently he throws the pages down.
So is he like giving into the monsters?
No, he's they're going out to look for his girlfriend. Who,
Oh, was that?
Yeah.
I was like, well, why? I thought he's like.
Basically, it's just
And
so they can have some conflict. This is really the reason this exists. We need to get these guys out of the cabin for a change of scenery.
By the way, you were correct about that guy having an uncredited train passenger.
In Spider-Man 2, I bloody knew it was him!
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2, of course, is also a Sam Raimi film for the 3 people that didn't already know that.
Yeah.
Because that scene with Dr. Octopus.
He's in everything. He's pretty much in all of Sam Raimi's films.
Really, I haven't spotted him in a lot of others, but that was the other one I spotted him in.
He was in. Let's see. He was in Darkman.
Oh, who's he in Darkman?
Skip.
He's Liam Neeson.
I fucking love Darkman, by the way. That's a really underrated film.
I haven't seen it in ages. That's when I have to watch again.
Bruce Campbell's got a cameo without lines in that, actually.
Darkman, yeah.
Also, Darkman, like I was saying earlier, like one thing reminds me of another. Like Darkman always reminds me of Maniac Cop, and I haven't seen Maniac Cop.
Well, I'm saying Maniac Cop actually does have Bruce Campbell in a proper role, whereas Darkman does not.
He's in My Name Is Bruce.
Surprisingly,
The film by Bruce Campbell.
I really like My Name Is Bruce. I do. Ted Raimi's in that as well.
you say you don't like it.
No, I really do. I think it's really funny.
Yeah. And he's also in Oz the Great and
I just
Powerful.
love that the the guy who's like the defender of the ghost who's like the defender of the Chinese immigrants. He's also the defender of bean curd. I just find that really funny. So silly. No, I like My Name Is Bruce quite a lot.
So, if Sam Raimi had his way and there was going to be dude on tree action, which one do you think was going to
I
get?
think it was going to be him. I reckon it was going to be the hillbilly. I think Evil Ash looks like Lurch.
Sort of like Lurch and Roid Rage.
We were talking about Thing earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Lurch or Herman Munster, maybe. I don't know.
Judd.
Their freaky love child. Yeah, he has got sort of like the. I can see where you're coming from.
I actually like the Munsters. A lot of people don't. Like some people, it's too broad, but I don't know. I grew up with it. I really like. I don't like them. Did you ever see the Munsters Today? It was called.
No, I know of it.
I did see that.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about the Monsters Today. People can look that shit up. I think it's
Let's
interesting
talk about
how
the
they
Addams
decided
Family.
to change the blade from like a metal one to what appears to be a spinal cord.
It's a very pointy spinal cord.
It's very something you'd probably see in like.
Some sort of like ritual horror movie thing.
I was thinking even like a video game like God of War or something.
Yeah.
Well, like, it's like
It's
a
sort
special
of
dagger from Elder Scrolls or
It's sort
something.
of Giga-esque as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was still rigged to drip blood out of the mouth. Like that part still worked, but they didn't want to use that because again, they wanted to limit the sort of blood stuff.
Yeah. Well, apparently there was one point in it where one of the characters was meant to be split in half by the trees,
Oh, that's gross.
but they cut it to get the R rating.
Yeah.
Right, so you said like one point like possible tree rape and split in half. I really don't like this
So you're
combination.
gonna rip her legs apart and then split her in half.
Yeah, that's cool.
And horrifying.
Yeah, but I mean, it would have probably looked cool because this film, I think, for the most part, aside from when it's being deliberately artistic with this stop motion and things, for the most part, has really good special effects.
Yeah.
I imagine if they had kept that scene, it'd be like one of those.
Whoops.
Whoopsie doodle. One of the like if say that had been put, it would be like one of those scenes that's always. Like the guy's head from Exploding from Scanners, they sort of are like
Yeah.
one of the most iconic horror.
I don't even like Scanners, and yet that scene is so iconic.
Yeah.
I have this scene where she's like trying to like shut the door.
Come on, Bubba.
Doesn't quite pull him far enough out of the way.
apparently those contacts you could not see, or you're completely blind wearing them.
I think you can kind of tell that he can't see what he's doing.
Yeah.
Sort of helps with a lot.
She looks quite happy. I don't know why.
Yeah, she's got a weird mouth, hasn't she?
Yeah.
She turns out she's an adrenaline junkie. She's enjoying all of this. Yeah. That'd be a weird sort of like character like quirk in a horror movie, wouldn't it?
I was like, I get turned on by being in.
No, not even turned on. It's just like really enjoy like.
Wasn't that kind of the premise with The Descent?
I thought The Descent was like
so fucking boring.
Yeah. We watched it in class, and I missed the beginning bit, and it's just like there's a bunch of girls.
That would have ripped him to pieces.
Yeah, that would have. He would like pulling that. Yeah, he'll be
that looks
worse.
like it's been designed to not be able to be removed.
Mm-hmm.
Ribbed for his pleasure. Yeah.
But
So,
like, Gemma, have you seen The Descent?
No, I haven't.
Right, you don't have to ever watch it. All you got to do is grab the Christmas lights from upstairs, turn all the lights off in your house, and make the Christmas lights talk to each other. That's The Descent.
oh, and occasionally Gollum kills someone.
Okay.
God, it's so shit.
Yeah. Also, like,
And then sit there and then have a bunch of people, because it's English and independent, sit there and go, oh, brilliant. Brilliant. It's directed by the guy who always directs the really epic battle episodes of Game of Thrones as well, so it should be the shit, but it's just not.
I heard good things about The Descent as well.
It's
Nope.
such AIDS.
I take your word for it.
No, watch it anyway if you want to. Obviously, don't let me stop you watch your film. You
I'd
might
also like to
enjoy
say
it.
Don't watch it with you.
that guy is like none of he's been stabbed with like that ribbed like ceremonial
Serrated,
blade
yeah.
thing. It's also she's pulled it out. He would be
Yeah, he's dead. That's what I'm saying. It's the moment they pulled it out would have killed him.
which probably would have been a mercy.
It's like one of those like
There's a
bullets
great
that you
moment
can
of
get
continuity
that, like,
coming
rip
up
like your
after
entire
this.
like you can like rip your organs out.
Organs.
Like they like those are the ones like in Breaking Bad and in Bruges.
Yeah.
It's not that like what's down there? A juicer.
I don't know, that kind of scene always reminds me of like Dracula Dead and Loving It. Where
Okay,
he's, like,
hold on a
puts
second. Hold on a second. Look how little blood is on her after that,
Oh my god, no, she would
and
be
it
covered.
changed shoulders as well.
He looks so derpy at the moment,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
He just looks so happy.
Oh, do you remember the good times he had with his other girlfriend in the cabin? The skull again.
I was gonna say, was that in the shape of a?
Yeah, it was in the shape of a skull. I did it in the first movie as well. Just like, oh, what a lovely time he had with what was her name? Linda.
Girlfriend A.
Yeah. She's your girlfriend. You take care of her. That's some awkward dialogue in the first one.
Or is it that one that's like, we can't bury Shelley, she's our friend.
We can.
Yeah, but I mean, so that to me seemed like it was deliberately funny. Like there are moments of levity in Evil Dead. I think it's quite. I mean, they're both quite masterful in their own way. I have real issues with.
Has he changed back? I can't tell.
I have only seen the third one twice.
Seen it a bunch of times. I had it on VHS. Only I was talking the Evil Dead 1 commentary, wasn't it, about all the differences between the European and American cut.
Yeah.
I think the sex scene is cut from the American version of the film as well, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
They kept all the violence in.
But
I mean, you can't really blame her for this. Like, oh, he seems to have gone back to normal, and I'm going to try and kill him anyway because.
But yeah, the VHS box, it wasn't actually called Army of Darkness and then parentheses Evil Dead 3. It was Army of Darkness: The Medieval Dead. Was the name of
Oh, yeah, right.
the VHS copy I had. It wasn't actually mine; it was my friend's.
Was
but,
it? Did you get like the one that's like in the shape of the Necronomicon?
No. It's
Like because I remember for years they kept selling Army of Darkness in this like rubbery thing that's supposed to look like the book.
Yeah, like there's a version of the first film that's in that. Because that's the one my mum and dad had.
Because obviously the book from the first film looks very different to the one from 2 and 3.
Yeah.
2 and 3 they used the same book, but in the first one it's a much more. It looks more horrific.
Yeah.
It looks more kind of fantasy-ish in this one.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the Evil Dead 2
This is very
it's called
cool.
The Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn.
Yeah.
Which, like, but no one calls it that.
No. I love this is such a great moment, like, and then like hits it with the elbow.
And now it's an action movie.
Yeah.
And that day, Duke Nukem was born.
It's a strange line. Yeah, Duke Nukem's just a rip-off of like 80s horror characters.
Yeah, like...
And has no present, doesn't need to be in the world anymore.
No.
Die monster, you don't deserve to be.
If Duke Nukem got remade like 20 years ago, it would have been fine.
Yeah. Duke Nukem Forever should have never come out.
No.
It should just always remained like this promise. I kind of like what they've done with Half-Life 3, If Half-Life 3 came out, it would just disappoint everyone.
Yeah.
That, it would need to, I don't know, transcend gaming as it is right now for it to, match up goddamn hype.
Yeah. I'm kind of glad they've made the Ash vs. Evil Dead TV show rather than an Evil Dead 4 movie.
Mm-hmm. It's got some really... It's apparently really good from what it is, and it's got Lucy Lawless in it as well.
Cool. No, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be funny.
Yeah. They're on season 2 just now.
Yeah. I'll check it out.
Yeah, we'll watch it
when I
some
can
point.
be asked, yeah.
I'm still hoping there's a crossover between that and Game of Thrones. Turns out what the White Walkers are Deadites.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
Have to rally the Night's Watch.
And it all comes down to it being Bran Stark's fault.
Yeah, fuck Bran Stark.
He shouldn't have read from that book. As he was falling off the tower, he saw a book in a window, decided to read it quickly.
It was actually Robb Stark while his mum was going, you shouldn't read that book. Shut up, mum, I know better than you.
Oh, for my honour, I need to marry this random woman I banged. Also, I'm going to read from this book for no reason. What sort of the way he cut through the basement door with his chainsaw? Okay, so in case, why not just leave her down there?
Because then, we need a final act, don't we? And in the first movie, that they break out of the cellar. So in this one, he's got to go down into the cellar.
Yes.
Of course, he goes down into the cellar in the first one anyway, after the fact to get the extra bullets, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I just thought of a new feature that should be in every single film, a Pokemon Go app for the film, so you see it through the lens as if the main character was playing Pokemon Go at the time.
Right. So everything's just all colourful and...
No, so it's as it is now, but he's holding up an iPhone and trying to see if there's a Bulbasaur downstairs as well. I gotta kill that Deadeye and catch me a Pikachu.
Is anyone still playing Pokemon Go? Is it just children now?
I would play it if it didn't drain your battery and drain your data.
I'm pretty sure some people do. A bunch of kids. My mum. I was going to the hospital with my mum.
So I'm sure children. I've seen
children play. Yeah, there's a bunch of people get out. I was so I rode out the window, told them to get the fuck out of the road and stop playing Pokemon Go.
I saw an Asian woman on the bus playing it yesterday.
When you say Asian, do you mean Far East or
I'm talking either she was Chinese or Japanese. I don't know.
Or from anywhere around there. Yeah, so I mean, if she was from Japan, I mean, they're basically children over there anyway. You know what I mean? They play. They're arcades in their 30s over there. You know what I mean? It's different culture.
Mm-hmm.
You're just jealous because they have sweet arcades.
They do have sweet arcades. I've never really seen an adult. I say never, but I mean recently is more what I meant to say. I haven't recently seen an adult play Pokemon Go. So I'm getting at at work, I see kids playing it all the time, but I never see adults playing it anymore. When it first came out, everyone was playing it.
I just like to hear the stories about, because I don't play Pokemon Go, my phone's too crap to it, and I probably wouldn't play it even if I did have a better phone, but I like to see the stories about people, things happening to people playing Pokemon Go, ramming into stuff or finding dead bodies and stuff like that.
There's an obvious rip in the suit here as well. There it is. Right on the booty. Right on the badonkadonk.
I've got like zombie grandma badunkadunk.
It's wearing thong. You cannot.
Is it though? It's like if it's going to twerk or if it's in a thong, you can't get rid of the badunkadunk. And he's just like someone just done this Babadook like with like a big gelatinous booty.
You saying twerk just remind me of that time. Where'd she come from? Was it the time that you were reading those like was it questions like why do white people keep insisting they invented twerking or something like that?
I'm like, I don't want any part of twerking. And also, I don't think anyone invented shaking your ass as a dance move. I'm pretty sure that's like existed since time immemorial. You know,
well, probably from the song "Shake, Shake, 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 Shake Your Booty."
I'm pretty sure, like people in like times before civilization, as soon as dancing was invented, probably shook their bums. I don't see how that's something that anybody can claim ownership of.
It's the first thing cavemen invented.
She's scary. I wouldn't want to see her at the end of my bed.
Do you mean the monster or
her?
The girl in the yellow shirt?
The girl in the yellow shirt.
I like how the body seems to deflate now as well.
Why would you not immediately shove a shot like? Yeah!
I like that he has work boots in this movie. They're a lot more manly than those fucking loafers he wore in the first one.
The boat shoes.
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not actually like Ash's more badass twin brother who's also called Ash?
Yeah, it's actually a different cabin. That's why the first 20 minutes are so different to the first movie. They both just went to cabins in the woods at different parts of the country.
Are you looking in the back of the Necronomicon? It's just like this one's just made in China or something.
The Necronomicon actually looks different in this one, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It's the same prop from the third one. It's like a larger sort of flat book with them all kind of like like I was saying earlier, more of a fantasy movie kind of look to it. This is cool. This is very kind of sort of Wizard of Oz like kind of.
Do you think Sam Raimi will ever do anything with Wizard of Oz? Do you think he would ever do anything good?
You know what? Like, I think Oz the Great and Powerful was as good as it could have been. You know, it was never going to be great, but I liked what he did with it. I won't watch it again, but I went to the movies and saw it. I was satisfied by it. I thought it was imaginative.
Because I was just listening to an older episode of Bad Creepypasta and you was talking mad shit about it.
No, like it's not very good, but the point is, like, I liked it at the time. I wouldn't watch it again, but it's fine.
Fuck you, tree. The one true enemy. So say if there's like I don't know because there's never any real hierarchy or anything explained about the evils.
Yeah.
Like, but if the actual like boss, I don't know, monster demon or whatever, was hiding in a tree the whole time. He's got a white streak in his hair.
Yeah, I was just thinking
his hair just turned grey. Yeah, he was that's what happens. The monster shows up and the flower withers and his hair turns grey.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that giant mouth thing is what's been chasing them in both movies.
Yeah.
And that because he reacted the same way, like with like blind terror, and then his hair turned grey from looking at it. So I assume that's supposed to be like the actual evil that's in the woods.
Yeah. I can't remember, but does he have a white streak in his hair in Army of Darkness?
No, I think they just forget to do it.
Okay, because even though I was just thinking, from the pictures I've seen of Ash versus Evil Dead, I know that Bruce Campbell's in his 50s now.
Yeah.
So his hair is going to turn grey eventually, but it seems like they managed to do it for that as well instead.
He might have a grey streak in Army of Darkness. I just remember his hair being black all the way across. So I remember thinking, cause I saw that one first. I remember thinking because I used footage from this one, from the ending here, and he's got the grey streak, but I'm sure it's not there when he arrives with the new footage of it, in medieval England, where he gets captured rather than being held as a hero.
Yeah.
That desert in medieval England.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. This whole sequence is very cool. They spent quite a bit of money on these props and everything.
Yeah.
You can't imagine the giant tree hand coming through the house and grabbing someone in the first one.
It would have been if just really shitty Wicker Man sort of.
I was thinking would have tried to violate somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit that reminded me of Wizard of Oz here, with the cooker and everything, all sort of clearly on strings, Almost intentionally.
He's getting sucked away, but her dead body is fine.
Yeah.
It was originally when Bobby Joe gets killed, the vines pull her legs apart and she's split in half like a wishbone when she gets rammed with a tree between her legs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty grim.
Mm-hmm. Might actually be one of the grimmest ways to die I've can think off the top of my head in a film I would have seen.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that they couldn't include it if they wanted an R rating,
Mm-hmm.
What a fucking weird ending this is as well.
Yeah.
That's he's landed on some pavement.
Yeah.
Knights of the Round Table.
We jamming down this parrot.
I push
It's so bizarre. Again, it's very sort of Monty Python. Obviously, we're doing the Holy Grail there, but just. I how bad the film stock looks here as well.
Yeah.
So grainy.
Maybe it's meant to be.
Yeah, I guess it's deliberate.
It's set back in ancient times, so the
Obviously,
cameras back then.
The cameras just weren't as good. I think this is Sam Raimi in this suit.
It is, yes.
I know he's in one of the scenes, but it might be. Oh no, it's him.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, that's Sam Raimi.
I just like the way that none of the films could actually connect to each other in
Yeah, because the continuity is wrong between each film.
So anyone who puts in the next one, it's I was taken prisoner. It's
Yeah.
No, you wasn't.
It's you were hailed as a hero.
But there was quite a big gap between them, because it was between this one and between Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2, it was about 5 years. 5 years. Well, yeah, 5 years, and then between this one and it was about 6 years between Army of Darkness and this one. So.
Yeah. So I mean that was Evil Dead 2. I didn't know it was the same composer from the first one.
It only got better.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. Again, I hadn't watched it for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I still prefer the first one.
Yeah, me too.
You can tell the quality of a movie when people watching it trying to talk over it and they don't.
Yeah, it's a good film, and I think it's more well made. I think.
Wait! We need to pay attention to the character names.
The only thing I would say that's better in the first film, in terms of filmmaking, I think the first one is better paced.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Has better tree sex scenes.
I like them both for what they are. So this has been another instalment of Shocktober. thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. You know, where we'll play Chef's Love Shack with 4 bodacious swimsuit models. So be sure to tune in for that.
Bye.